Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. And in today's video I'm going to take a look at an alternative case arrangement for my HT Instruments setup that I have sat on the table there. I believe I've done an individual video on the vast majority of these instruments. The one exception is probably the HT 96U over in the corner there, which is an AC milliamp clamp adapter. At the front here, sticking with the clamp adapters, we've got the HT 4006, which is 0 to 400 amps AC DC, and then we have the F3000U, which is a 0 to 3000 amp AC Rehousing style clamp adapter. And in the instrument department we've got the HT65 multimeter and the HT Neptune insulation tester there. Now all of these instruments come in a cardboard box. That's all it is for a couple of the clamps. Both the HT Instruments and this current adapter down here do have these canvas bags supplied with them, which are okay, but they're not the best available out there. Accessory wise, it's pretty limited what comes with the instruments, just the standard PVC leads. You have the lead onto the probe tip itself, and then you can take this off and actually put the crocodile clip onto the probe like that, which isn't my favourite arrangement, and I'm not vastly fond of PVC leads either, so we're going to do something to replace those as well. So this is a bunch of accessories I'm going to add to the 2 meters here. I've got a standard set of test leads with straight 4mm at the end that allows me to common out connections across the meters if I do need to, and they are actually PVC, those ones. We've got 2 sets of red leads and 2 sets of black leads. These are the standard right angle with a straight 4mm adapter on the end. They are both from Clique and they are silicon insulated test leads. We then have a couple of standard test probes there. Again, they're from Clique, and I have a set of fused test probes there as well. These are from Q-Tech. You can undo the fusing, take out the probe, and then screw on the crocodile adapter as well. So I've got fused crocodile clips should I need them. So they are all Q-Tech, and then we're back to these small little crocodile clips. These are from Clique test lead set, along with these spade adapters as well. We're then back to accessories that come from the HT Instruments that I am keeping. The thermocouple adapter there, and then the thermocouple itself. And then this is a special adapter for the HT 96U clamp probe that returns that connector there, converts it to standard 4mm adapters there, and then just a PB Swiss dumpy hex bit driver there with a screwdriver bit and a made up penny slot screwdriver so that I can change the batteries out, and I will put some spare batteries into the kits as well. So that's what I'm going to add to all the instruments inside the kit that I'm building up. So the case I'm going to put all this lot into is from the Milwaukee Packout range. Part number on this is 4932464080. It is the Milwaukee Packout small box, and in the UK it retails for around about £55. Added to that, at the bottom here, just out of screenshot, you can see I've made up 2 shadow foam cutout systems there. This is the 50mm shadow foam. You can buy standard red shadow foam from ITS, where I got the Milwaukee Packout from, and also the other distributors of the Packout system as well. You can buy standard red shadow foam case inserts from them. Alternatively, if you go to the shadow foam website itself, you can buy these inserts in different colours, or you can just buy a complete sheet of shadow foam and cut it to fit the case yourself. As I said, these are the 50mm inserts. They retail for £25 for a 2-pack. I've got 2 different colours because I've got another case that I'm going to work on for another different loadout as well. So I opted for the orange and the blue, and then I can have a 2-layer system in the Packout of different colours. So as you can see, the shadow foam is all cut out. I'm not going to go through the actual cutting out of the sheets. I'm just going to load the items into each one of them. If you want to see shadow foam being cut out, I'll leave a link to the shadow foam YouTube channel down there. They do a load of this stuff and they do it a lot better than I do. So I'd recommend you go and watch those to learn all about the shadow foam and the different cutting techniques and tools that they've got for it. Okay, so we'll deal with the bottom sheet first. I did actually take off the corners of the sheet as well, along here and along the back, so that it all sits closer to the bottom of the case. Because having 2 layers of 50mm, it does put everything very close to the lid, putting pressure on some of the instruments inside, which is obviously not a good idea. So everything has already been cut out. You can start off down in this corner here. We've got our adapter lead for the HT96U clamp. We've got our K-type adapter that goes in there. There's a thermocouple lead. So our thermocouple lead, we just cut a slot out for leads. Leads can be a bit troublesome to mount into this foam, so that's one method of doing it, just to create a cutout for the lead and squidge it in there, and it should hold in place okay. And we've got our screwdriver, can go in there, sits in there, and a small little Phillips 1-bit for some of the instrument cases, and I've got a little penny slot driver I've put in there as well. Let's go to our fused test leads over there in the corner. What you do actually find is with the fused test probes, you have to cut these a little bit deeper, because you've got the collar, the finger guard here, that sits proud around the actual probe itself. If you don't put them down into there, this collar will sit proud, and when you put the second sheet on top, it'll either force them down into the foam further or cause a little bit more damage to them. So you do have to cut those a little bit deeper. Large fused clips to go with the probes there. They go in there. So I've actually put cutouts in these ones to remove these, make it a little bit easier. You then have the small clips going in there. That's those two. These smaller items don't appear to need finger pulls to get them out, so it'll make them a little bit looser in there, so they can come out themselves if you're not careful. But you can get these out easy enough just by going in the end and remove them. There's no problem. And then finally over here we've got our standard test probes there, so they all sit in there. So the other way I've done of cutting the leads out is to create this circular hole for the actual wire itself, and then separate cutouts for the connectors. And at the end you can lay these out anyhow you want them, really. I'm going to put both of the reds in this one here, and then the blacks over on the other side. Just depends on what you want to do, and they can be a little bit mischievous to try and get in. The silicone ones don't tend to form quite so well, or hold their form, so you do get in a bit of a mess with these at times. But that's those there. And what I've actually done with this as well, I did have a few test runs with these to get this right. You can see spare bit of shadow foam here, and played about with different ways of cutting them. A straight one here, you see there, doesn't seem to work quite so well. So what I've actually done is put an angle on the cut of the centerpiece there, so the leads are kind of hidden in there. The actual slot at the top is narrower than this version here, so it tends to try and hold the leads in a little bit better. But it does take a bit of getting right. So that's the red one there. And then finally over in this corner, we've got exactly the same for the black test leads. Okay, so once all the items have been added into the shadow foam, we're ready to put the bottom layer in. In reality, this layer stays inside the box all the time. no problems. So it sits in there all nice and snug, and that's all the accessories inside the bottom layer. So now we can move over to the top layer. Moving on to the top sheet, and you can see again already cut out. Instruments can be a little bit tricky to cut out. Some of them you find you have two layers, and sometimes you put a layer underneath for the actual lead, other times you put a separate slot for the actual lead to the side of it. And the DMMs themselves that are sitting in the front here, they can be a little bit tricky because you have to cut them all the way down. They go a little bit deeper at the front end to accommodate the actual probe holders themselves within the instruments, and on a 50mm sheet I'm pretty much through the actual sheet there, very close to it. So what I've actually done with this is backed it with a thin sheet of 1/8 inch plywood that you can see there, and at the sides there I put a further cutout and an edge piece so that I can get my fingers in to lift this top block out. So that's the major part of that there. We can put the two instruments in there. There's the HT65. You can see that unlike the bottom sheet, the instruments will sit above the level, above the surface of the actual shadow foam itself. Just here we have the F3000U, and the lead fits underneath on that. So it covers up underneath there, and then press that all into place. Again, slightly shallow for the actual Rehousing coil itself. And then batteries for this, although it has some in it. I put 4 spare batteries in the top there. So that's those ones, and then a spare PP3 just there. I'm moving over to the other side. A couple of more spare batteries there for either. Yeah, so the HT65 takes the PP3 in there. The Neptune is what takes the actual AAAs there. So I've got some spare ones for that one. Those 2AAs also do for the HT4006 there. This one, the lead's that long. I've got a combination of a little bit underneath and then some of it wrapped around by the side here as well. That's the best I could kind of do with that, really. So that all fits inside there and pushes down. A little bit more awkward, that one. And then finally at the top here we have our HT96U clamp. The lead kind of sits inside the handle here on this one and goes round. So that's that one there, all pushed in place. Again, the leads can be a bit of an escape artist at times. So we're ready to add this one into the case as well. So there you can see the second layer has been added into the top here. All the instruments sitting nice and easy, ready to get to, depending on which one you want. Some of them have finger pulls that are easy to get out. Other ones don't really need that. And then once you've got the instrument you want, the side cutouts you can see here, I can easily get my fingers down and lift this out completely and get to the accessory that I want underneath. And then when I'm done, just pop the top layer back in. I did thin out the sides very slightly on this to make it a little bit easier to get in and out. But there you go, that's it. That's my HT instrument setup, all enclosed within a Milwaukee Packout case. That'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it useful, and I'll see you again in the next one.